All right, Miles, let's talk Matt Rule in Nebraska Cornhuskers football. This is a program under the new leadership of Matt Rule that's made a lot of big time moves already this offseason. A lot of good energy, a lot of good momentum going through Nebraska right now. And we've got not one, but two great updates to that report that highlight exactly all the energy that's behind this program.
Yeah, Nick, I think these are going to be two really great moves for the Cornhuskers program, showing they're in the right direction, showing they're working to get back on top. Because if we look at it, Nick, the Cornhuskers, we go back, this was one of the most dominant programs in college football at one point in time. They were very, very scary to go up against. This was a team you did not want to mess with. And I think Matt Rule and co. are going to get them back to that point. But there's a lot of young talent on this team, a lot of talent that maybe hasn't quite fulfilled its promise, Nick. And I think Matt Rule is going to be able to get the best out of them. So after you've seen spring training, you've seen these guys early on, let us know in the comments below, Cornhuskers fans, who is your breakout candidate for this season? I think there's a lot of great options on both offense and defense, but I'm curious to know, if you can only pick one, who is your breakout candidate for Nebraska this season? Let us know in the comments below. But Nick, let's get on into it. What are the two big moves the Cornhuskers just made?
Yeah, Miles, without further ado, let's throw it out. This is from the great, we'll call him the great Hayes Fawcett over on 3 Sports, breaks all kinds of awesome recruiting news. Recommend you follow him if you have a Twitter account. But here we go. This is according to Fawcett. Class of 2024 running back Kawan Lacey tells me he has committed to Nebraska. The 5'11", 205-pound running back from Lancaster, Texas, chose the Cornhuskers over Ole Miss, Arizona State, and Baylor, class of 2024. Also today, safety Rex Guthrie tells me he has committed to Nebraska. The 6'1", 200-pound safety from Littleton, Colorado, chose the Cornhuskers over Wyoming and others. Guthrie went on to say, Nebraska is home. Let's go be great and dominate. Go Big Red. All right, Mike. So obviously these are two solid recruits. Like these aren't 4-star, 5-star, top of the line, elite level headline making guys. But these are good, solid recruits. But I want to highlight what's going on in Nebraska here, and I kind of mentioned it in the open. There's momentum building in the recruiting department. This is one of those things that momentum is a real factor. We talk about momentum during the game and during the season, but in terms of organizational culture, momentum really does have a big impact. You know, we both have worked our day jobs, day-to-day life. I know I've spent a lot of time in corporate America. I've worked for some companies where there isn't momentum. You don't win the big jobs, things go slow, layoffs happen, and you just eventually peter out and things go poorly. I've also worked for companies where things are starting to pick up. You win one job and then another, and you bring in more people, and people get excited. Energy starts building. You get a lot of young guys want to join the company, things like that. A lot of people get excited. People put in extra time. That's a real thing. Momentum matters. I've seen it myself in the corporate life, and it certainly matters in terms of college football recruiting. We talk about it all the time. Good recruiting begets better recruiting. And right now, Nebraska has the 16th, 1-6 ranking in the 2024 class right now. And that's with 0 5-stars. That's crazy. Most of these rankings, how they weight it, they're really heavy on the 5 stars. If you get a couple 5 stars, you'll catapult to the top. Nebraska hasn't nailed its big fish yet, and they're still in the top 20. And this was a program, as Nebraska fans are very well aware of, wasn't the most successful and hasn't been the most successful in a number of years. So it's not like they're resting on last year's success or anything like that to recruit for the future. And this is all on the Matt Rule. This is what he was brought in to do, was rebuild momentum, revitalize this program, and we're starting to see it build. And this is going to be the start of the flywheel effect. More recruits come in, better recruits come in, the products can get better on the field, and then more and better recruits are going to come in. That's what's going to happen. I love what Matt Rule is doing with this Nebraska program. I think these two reports continue to highlight that. But I'll throw it over to you now. What do you think of these two commits and just everything going on with Nebraska right now?
Yeah, Nick, I think Nebraska is doing a lot of great things, and I want to talk about where they got these recruits from. Because you look where these guys are from, Littleton, Colorado, and then you got Lancaster, Texas. Nick, they're both huge programs. They're obviously Deion Sanders, Coach Prime, and the University of Colorado doing a lot of noise over there. They're getting a lot of big recruits. To steal one from Colorado for Nebraska has to feel good. And also, you got Texas, you got Arch Manning, you got Sarkisian over there. That is another school to get this guy out of Texas. But there's tons of other schools that are going after these guys. But to get these guys out of these teams' own backyard has to feel good for the Cornhuskers. Because you brought up our jobs, Nick, and that's what I want to kind of give a little analogy for today. You, corporate America, the tech industry, that's the big titans of industry, like the Texases of the world, the Colorados of the world right now. I work for a smaller family business, landscaping, salt of the earth type people, and that's where Nebraska is. They really pulled themselves up by their bootstraps. Matt Rule came in. He's got to do a lot of work, because when you think Nebraska, you don't think, oh, this is going to be a really fun place to go. This is going to be, big city life or, great atmosphere or anything like that. But you'd be wrong, because I've heard Nebraska's culture and the, feel around that school is one of the best in the country. But Matt Rule has to show people that he's got to go in there. He's got to do the manual labor. He's got to do the hard work to get these guys out of these big time high school football states where there's big time colleges in those states as well. And I love what he's doing. He's really putting in the hours. He's doing the work. He's always been a great recruiter, a good turnaround type of guy. And I like the direction that this, corn-fed Nebraska program is headed in, because they are doing all the hard work, and hard work always pays off in the end, Nick. I'm excited to see what they do not only this year, but I think they're setting up for a really, really good 2024.
And might as well end on this. You bring up a couple great analogies there. I will say this, in my personal experience in corporate life, the small business that wants to work hard, ergo the Matt Rules to the world, always kicked our butts when we were the big corporate entity. 100 times out of 100. Nebraska fans should take solace in the fact that because Rule is putting in the time and running it like it's a small business, running it like they're the underdog, it means success isn't far away.